A ton of you got my last question in the last video totally right. It was a fluid wave. And a fluid wave is a subtle but very unique physical exam finding that we see in dogs and cats that have fluid in their belly. And it's actually a human exam finding as well. Dog is pooping. And this finding is really cool and unique because your belly is supposed to be filled only with organs and little to no fluid outside of like the intestines and bladder and things like that. So in between the organs, there shouldn't be any fluid. Does the embarrassment of filming content in public ever go away? Asking for a friend. For example, imagine a balloon filled with pudding. When you slap it, it's not going to make that perfect wave pattern that you would if the balloon was filled with water. Now imagine that balloon filled with, something more solid like shredded chicken. When you slap it, it definitely doesn't have that wave pattern. So it's just kind of a gradient of that wave that we're seeing. That is this exam finding. And the extra credit part of this question was what can cause fluid buildup in the abdomen? People had really good answers, but the most common ones we see in dogs are a bleeding splenic mass or some other organ mass that's bleeding, or ascites from either heart failure or liver failure. In this case, the dog had a huge liver mass that was causing ascites in the belly. When we drew a sample of the fluid, it was really yellow looking, as opposed to whether it was a bleeding mass, the fluid would look like frank blood. I really think it's cool how much information we can get from the physical exam alone without all the fancy instruments and things like that. Magic hands. Don't get me wrong, we use all those fancy schmancy tests to give us more information about prognosis, about what's actually going on, which organ is involved, and all that fun stuff. Let me know what you think.